All right, friends, we are live. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos. It's a bit of a mixed bag weather-wise here in Huntington. You don't know what to do. This morning when I got up for the dogs, it was in the 30s, or actually it was 30. And then by the time I left the office today, it was in the 50s. So I'm not quite sure what to make of the weather. It is the first Shabbat of December, also the second Shabbat of Kislev. No, actually, yeah, the second Shabbat of Kislev, which means Hanukkah is right around the corner. But regardless of where you are and whatever the weather is where you are, we are here tonight, and it is beautiful because we are here together. And so we're going to start off Shabbat by lighting candles, benching licht, and we have Nancy here, and she's going to bench licht for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'halotner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. All right, we'll continue on this Shabbat evening with the responsive reading. Let's go to page 6. Page 6, and we'll read the second reading responsively in English. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May the synagogue be for all men, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. All right, let's continue with welcoming Shabbat. Kabbalat Shabbat means to receive Shabbat. And so let's continue on page 20 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Yishme'anu el ha'miuchad, Adonai echad v'shmo echad, l'shem tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mekor ha'bracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, mikdash melech yimelucha, kumitzihi mitocha fecha, rabla hakshevet b'yei mechavacha, Vehu yachamol alaychem la, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, nitzari me'afar kumi, livshi v'dei tifarte chami, al yad v'nishai v'kalachmi, korva el nafshi gehala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, itorri, ki va'urek kumi uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayk nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela, lo tevoshi v'lo tikolmi, mahatish tochachi matehemi, v'hyechesu aniyeh ami, V'nivnit sha'ir al tila, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat ekabela, v'hayu l'shipsa shohosayif, v'rahachaku kol mevalayif, yasis alayif Elohayif, ki himsos chatan ha'al-kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat ekabela, yamin u'smol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai ta'aritzi, Yahadish ben partzi, v'nismecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat ekabela, bo'id shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'sola, toch emunei am segula, Bo'hi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat ekabela. Let's turn the page, right to page 22, for some verses from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. And let's read that top outdented paragraph in English together. A psalm for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with the 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai! How very subtle your designs! A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadika tamar yifra, ke'erez balvanot yiskeh shetuli beveit Adonai. Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu, O Jenuvun B'Seva, B'Shenim B'Ra'ananim Yiyu Le'agi, Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatavo. Page 24. Let's welcome the angels who come to spend Shabbat with us. 2 angels for each of us on Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, top of 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashare, Malachei Elyon, V'melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bo'achem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have welcomed Shabbat properly. And so we can begin the Arvit service for Shabbat. The evening service, page 146, will continue with Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch
Adonai Borach Le'olam Haed. Let's read together on 147 the English translation of the first bracha before Shema. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'aviv Aravim. Top of 148, the second bracha before Shema. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shofteinu u'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam ha'ed. Ki heim chayinu, v'orech yameinu, u'behem nehegeh, yomam v'layla, ve'ahavat techal tasir mimenu li'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levacha, v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol miyotecha. V'hayu advarim ha'ele, asher nochi mitzavecha, hayom ha'levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shitecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha, u'chaftam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'isharecha. Leman tizkeruhu, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151, let's read responsibly in English. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. When will redemption come? Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned our treasure to redeem time and event, so we celebrate His power and make for freedom.
Top of 152, Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nohora tehilo obosei feleh. Malchutecha ra'u banecha. Vokeyam lifnei Moshe. Ze'li anu v'amruhu. Adonai yimlo le'olam v'ed. V'nehemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov. U'ga'alo mi'et chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Top of 153, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'ha'amidenu shomeinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'ha'amidenu shomeinu l'chayim. And let's read together the paragraph in English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, Elohei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Kol Amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim. Top of 154, Vishamru. Jump the gun there, Tom. Got to go back to the starting block.
You're lagging behind.
I'm lagging behind. Germans don't lag behind. Top of 154. Tom, ready? Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabat la'asot et Hashabat ledorotam b'vis olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabat la'asot et Hashabat ledorotam b'vis olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, ohoti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabat la'asot et Hashabat ledorotam b'vis olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam b'vis olam. Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam b'vis olam. We're at the central prayer of the evening service, the Amidah. Pages 155, 156, and 157 we'll chant together. And then we'll go silently 158 through the end on 167. And during that time, you can finish the prayer in Hebrew. You can read the English translation, or you can offer up your own meditative prayer. But we'll begin together on page 155. Adonai sifatai tifach u'v'yai tehilatecha. Adonai Sinotaitita, Ufiagi Tehilacheka. Adonai, open up my lips, and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hamidol, Hadorah, El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Todim, Vekonei HaKol, Lezocher Chasdei Avot Livahot, Ulevi Bneihem, Leman Shelo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Umagin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Yezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Iti Hatarav Moshiach, Mashiach Ruach, Brit HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayim Iti B'Rachamim Rabim. Somech noflim verofem cholim, umatir asumim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha al gibro, umidom helach, melech meiti, umekayem. Umatziach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot eiti, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei Amen. So completing your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We're in the middle of page 160. Let's read this paragraph in the middle together in English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh HaShabbat. A little bit of Hoda'ah, a little bit of Thanksgiving this evening. Lots to be grateful for these past few days. And so little bit of gratitude every day goes a long way. It doesn't have to be the big ticket item. It could be just something as small as you went out for a walk and you didn't get rained on. I mean, that's something to be grateful for. It could be anything, but we all should have lots to be grateful for this week. Page 163 at the top, let's read responsively. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. And let's close out on the top of page 164, a prayer for peace. In the evening, it's Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol etu b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Praise are you, Adonai, who blesses your people, Israel, with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Page 253, jump ahead for a prayer, one of the prayers for healing. This one is the Mishaberach. And if you have anyone who needs a little bit of extra healing, whether it's physical, spiritual, emotional, any kind of healing, keep them close to your heart and keep them in your thoughts as we prepare for Mishaberach, middle of page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let's jump ahead to 258 and 259, prayers or community. And Hoyt, would you read in English the prayer for our congregation?
O Heavenly One, protector, redeemer of Israel.
Nope. 258 at the top.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Source of all being. May the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, Shemotecha levacha yirah na'avod. Tom, how about the prayer for our country?
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness. Let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share our bread with the hungry, take the wretched poor into her home. When you see the naked, give clothing, do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished preacher, then your light shall shine in darkness.
Amen.
Shalu Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu Ahavayif. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, Sur Yisrael V'Golo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit Tzmichat Ulatenu. Hagen Aleha V'Yavrach Chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Uracha V'Amitcha, L'Rasheha Soreha V'Yotzeha, V'Takneim Be'etza Tova Milfanecha, V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'Simchat Olam V'Yoshveha, V'Nomar Amen. Max, would you read for us in the English the prayer for Israel?
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield beneath your wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send them your light to be true to all who lead in lies. Guiding them with your good counsel, establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen. Amen. Thank you all. All right, friends. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. This week it's Parshat Vayetze, and it literally means, or not literally, it just means, and he went out. And this is the one parsha in the entire Torah that I think shows that we believe in karma, that what goes around comes around. Because Yaakov, you remember Yaakov, he was the one who connived the Bechorah, the birthright from his older brother Esav, and then stole the blessing from Esav. And last week, Yaakov was sent away because Esav, in a fit of pique, a fit of anger, said that, once the old man is dead, I'm going to kill my brother. And who hasn't said that, right? I mean, seriously, who hasn't said that at least, a dozen times today, when I think about my younger brother. But Yaakov sets out for the land of Haran to escape Esav's anger and his wrath. And so the first night out, he's very, very afraid, right? Remember, Esav was the one who would have no problem camping out. Yaakov was the one who lived in the tents and, followed mommy around. So he's a little out of sorts that night on the road, and he has a dark night of the soul, right? He realizes that he's not ready for this kind of life. And so he has a dream. And it's not the first dream in the Torah. We've already had a dream. Right, we've had the dream of Avimelech. Nope, not Avimelech. A king. It wasn't Avimelech. He has a dream where he realized. No, it is Avimelech. I'm sorry. Where Isaac and Rebekah. He's told that Isaac and Rebekah are Sarah and Abraham. Too many names. Sarah and Abraham are husband and wife, not brother and sister. And, the Torah knew rock and roll because he has a dream of a stairway to heaven, And it is one of the most famous dreams. There's the angels that are going up on one end and the angels coming down, and God is at the top. And the angels that are going up are the angels that were protecting him in the land of Canaan, and the angels coming down are the ones that are going to protect him when he is outside of the land. And in the midst of this dream, God promises that Yaakov's descendants will be blessed, and that they will in fact inherit the land that had been promised to his father and to his grandfather. And he makes it to Haran, no issues there. And then he meets, this is where karma comes into play, he meets Laban. Laban is his uncle, his mother's brother. And Laban is one of the great ganifs, one of the great thieves, one of the great cheats in our tradition. And this is where Yaakov is going to learn a lot of lessons that he needed to learn. And first, he finds out that Laban has two daughters. The older daughter, Leah, and the younger daughter, Rachel. And Yaakov takes one look at Rachel and falls head over heels for her and begs Laban to let him marry her. Laban knows a good thing when he sees it and says, yeah, okay, you can have her, but you have to work for me for 7 years. No worries there. He says, okay, I'll work for 7 years. So they're getting ready to have the wedding. And then one of the great tricks in the Torah happens. There's a switch at the wedding. Instead of getting Rachel, he gets Leah. Okay, maybe while they're standing under the chuppah, no, there was no chuppah, but they're getting married. No, Yaakov doesn't find out that he has Leah as a wife until the next day, meaning he spent the night with her, meaning he must not have been paying attention a whole lot, or that was one heck of a wedding party. He wakes up and he's next to Leah, and the Torah says, behold, it was Leah, as if we're surprised, right? So then he has to work an additional 7 years. Now, it's not one of the great misnomers or the misunderstandings in our Torah is that people think that he had to work 7 years, then he got married, and then he had to work another 7. No. He was getting married well before the 7 were up, but he's now on the hook for 14 because Laban says, look, we don't know how you behave where you're from, but here the younger daughter doesn't get married before the older daughter. And since Leah has yet to be married, she is now your bride. And if you want Rachel, you can have, give me another 7 years and we'll call it even. Yaakov has in fact met his match in Laban, right? This is gonna play out through the entire portion. But here's the thing. He loves Rachel and he does not like Leah, but she immediately has a bunch of children. So Leah gives birth in this order, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Right? She gives birth to for someone that Yaakov didn't like. He sure spends a lot of time with her. And then she gives birth to Yisachar, Zebulun, and the daughter Dinah. Right? She's often forgotten in the story, but there's a very important story that comes up with Dinah. And then there are two handmaidens, two servant women who are given to Rachel and Leah. The one that is given to Leah, her name is Zilpah, and she has two sons, Gad and Asher. And Rachel's handmaiden, Bilhah, gives birth to Dan and Naphtali. And Rachel, after years of waiting, gives birth to Yosef. All right. She will also give birth to one other son, Binyamin, but that happens a little bit later. After many years of serving under Laban and being kind of Laban's punching bag, Yaakov wants to go home. So he's done his 14 years. He's done his 14 years plus, and now he wants to go home. He wants to head back to his parents. And so he works out an agreement for wages. Now, we know Laban. You think this is going to be an easy, you take half and I'll take half? Not at all. They divide the herd. And Yaakov says, look, I don't want you to think I'm cheating you. So when the firstlings are born, I'll take the spotted and speckled sheep and goats. Right now, those are not uncommon occurrences, but there are going to be more goats and sheep that are not spotted and speckled. Except Yaakov takes his part of the flock and puts them underneath some trees so that the sunlight that hits them marks them as, they look like they're spotted and speckled. And then they give birth to spotted and speckled offspring. And Laban is not happy because when they divide that up, Yaakov gets significantly more sheep and goats than Laban was expecting. So Laban accuses him of cheating. It goes back and forth. And then Yaakov decides that he is going to sneak away. Under the cover of night, he's going to pack everybody up and get them on the road. And Rachel, his favorite wife, does something that is going to have dire consequences. She steals one of her father's house idols, a kitchen idol, a little thing. If you ever go to Israel and you take a tour of some of the ancient houses or the dwelling places, you'll see in the kitchen that there was almost always a little shelf. And archaeologists had struggled for many, many years when they discovered this to try to figure out what that shelf was for. It was a single shelf. It wasn't wide enough to hold pots and pans or dishes or any kind of cutlery. But then when they started to dig up, they discovered these little idols that every household had. It's kind of like the Buddha, right? Everybody's house has a Buddha. So Rachel decides that she is going to just take one of her father's idols. She knows she's never going to see him again. And maybe just this one little piece of her father. So they set out, and Laban gets up the next morning and he chases after them. He catches up to them and says, "Hey, why'd you run away? Aren't we friends? Oh, by the way, one of you is a Ganef. One of you stole something from me, and I want it back." Now Yaakov, calm and collected Yaakov, screams at him, "How dare you? Why do you think I am? Why? No one took anything. Oh, if somebody did, let them die because they took it." Meanwhile, Rachel is sitting on the idol underneath her saddle on her camel because no one will go up to her and ask her to come off so that they can look at it because she is in fact a woman. And so she gets away with it, but Yaakov has said something that he is going to regret in a very, very big way. They reconcile their differences. Laban and Yaakov shake hands, and Laban goes home, and Yaakov heads towards home as well. So no mitzvot in this week's parasha. We still only have 2 mitzvot so far, and that's your Torah portion in a nutshell for Parashat Vayetze. Well, friends, a couple of weeks ago I talked about Kanye West, and I thought I was done talking about Kanye West. Apparently I'm not, but it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week. Apparently, Nazis are getting as much playtime now as they did in the 30s. It's tough. There was a week of all sorts of vile speech going back and forth, filling the airwaves. And I really don't want to talk about that. But, I can turn it off, right? If I don't want to listen to it, if I don't want to know what's being said, I can turn it off. You can turn it off, right? It's like when something comes on the television you don't want to watch, you change the channel. A song comes on the radio you don't like, you change the station, right? We can do this. We can turn it off. Nobody can ever listen to Kanye West again. But he has quite a few followers who are listening to him. And so we ignore him at our own peril. We need to know what they're saying. So with all this noise of the past couple of weeks dealing with the anti-Semites and the Jew haters, I missed the fact that Robert Clary died. Right, Robert Clary, for those of you who are of a certain generation, was a Holocaust survivor and an actor. He died on November 16th at the age of 96. And he lived a good long life. And he was the last surviving cast member of a comedy known as Hogan's Heroes, right, which ran from 1965 to 1971. And in that time, that was a good run. And it's in syndication. You could still see it on television today. It's not something that's been buried. For a lot of people, well, it was set in a POW camp in Germany, there was an international group of POWs. You had two Americans, Colonel Hogan, and Nick, who was a black radio man. You had Newkirk, played over the top by Richard Dawson, the British fellow, and LeBeau, who was played by Robert Clary. All right. Now, for a lot of people, when that show came out, it was too much too soon, right? Because the Nazis were paraded in their full regalia, but it wasn't so amusing, right? This is the late 60s. People really weren't starting to talk about the Holocaust, except for maybe a few years before, right? So there were a lot of people who were bent out of shape about this. But if you know anything about the show, there was a hidden joke inside the show, inside the series, that you would have to know a little bit about who was playing whom. Because many of the main characters, many of the Nazis were played by Jews. Right? Colonel Wilhelm Klink, right? The doddering and nervous person that he was, the commandant of Stalag 13, was played by a man named Werner Klemperer, who was part of the German Jewish cultural aristocracy. The Klemperer family was very, very famous. His father, Otto, was the great conductor of the Philharmonic. And his cousin, Victor, was the famous diarist who wrote two of his diaries. 2 volumes of his collected diaries were published a number of years ago. And he was a college professor, he was a linguist, and he wrote about his experiences. But Klemperer, Werner, said that he would take the role only if the Nazis were depicted as incompetent and foolish. They could never get the upper hand. Okay, so you have one. John Bannon, he played Sergeant Schultz. Right? He was a Jewish refugee from Austro-Hungary. Right? Now, what's interesting is that he played Nazis almost his entire career. He just had that look. And if you know the series, he looked like a German sergeant. He looked like somebody who would be there. He played Nazis throughout his career. General Albert Hans Burkhalter was played by Leon Askin, whose name before he changed it was Ashkenazi. That was his actual name. And he was a Viennese Jew, and his parents were murdered in Treblinka. Major Wolfgang Hochstetter, he was played by a man named Howard Kane, whose name before he changed it was Howard Cohen. And then that leaves us with Corporal Louis LeBeau, right? Robert Clary. He was the youngest of 14. 10 of his siblings died in the Shoah. He was deported to a camp at age 14 or 15, Ottmut, and later transferred to Buchenwald, where he was released in 1945. And he wrote a book, a very good book. You can get it. I think Amazon has it. From the Holocaust to Hogan's Heroes, the autobiography of Robert Clary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the main characters in that comedy were Jews. And I've read a lot about this, right? People opine as to why, right? One of the most common things is that the actors needed work. They were going to play whomever they right? They'll play whomever they will, whoever's wanted to get a job. Okay, maybe. Dave Chappelle, a couple of weeks ago, wondered why there seems to be a preponderance of Jews in entertainment. Why there seems to be a preponderance of Jews in comedy. And I was thinking about this week, that all of these Jews, with the exception of Clary, he was an Allied person. He was a member of the Allies. The four Jews who played Klink, Schultz, Buchhalter, and Hochstetter made the characters look like idiots. Right? Think about our tradition. We're heading up to Hanukkah. Hanukkah welcomes winter. Purim says goodbye to winter. What is Purim? Right? What do we do in Purim? We make fun of our enemies. Right? We roast them. We make fun of them. We make them look like buffoons, even though in reality they weren't. Achashverosh was a very powerful king. Haman came close to wiping us out. And yet every Purim, instead of cowering in the corner because of what might have happened or what may have happened before Esther and Mordecai got involved, we poke fun at them. We ridicule them. And just perhaps, maybe, the four who played the Nazis did that to make them look absurd and to somehow get revenge on them. To make the Nazis look like buffoons, even though they weren't. But there's something about watching Hogan's Heroes that when you see the Nazis being foiled by very, very simple plots or very, very stupid traps, that it might be us, might be the Jews, and I know I don't always say the Jews together, but I do say these four Jews, perhaps showing one of their fingers to the Nazis, taking a little bit of revenge on what the Nazis might have done, their 1,000-year empire that lasted 12 years. And yet the very people that they tried to exterminate are now mocking them. When Jews are powerless or feel powerless throughout our history, the one thing we turn to is ridicule and humor. The Middle Ages, we don't think of the Middle Ages as a place for high comedy, but there are a number of writings that are very funny, poking fun at those who were putting us in ghettos, those who were putting us, trying to convert us forcibly. And even in the Holocaust, there are writings that are, if they were written at any other time, they would be hilarious. But because they come out of the Shoah, they're not as hilarious as they could be, but they're still funny. Because the one thing that we have as a weapon, no matter where we are, is humor, parody, satire. I don't know if ridicule and parody and satire will shut people like Kanye West up, Nick Fuentes, any of the politicians in Washington who are defending Kanye, saying that, well, you know, they'll just throw whatever they can at him because he speaks the truth. Not quite sure what Kanye says is the truth. Not quite sure what we're going to do with the anti-Semitism and the Jew hatred that is out there right now. Maybe laughing at them. Maybe publicly laughing at them. Exposing them as the clowns they are. Maybe that will help. I don't know. I don't have the answer to this. I'm really thinking about it, and it's worth considering. because 4 actors in a television show made one of the most frightening regimes in history look like clowns. Maybe. I don't know. It's worth considering. Shabbat Shalom. Maury,
Kadoosh.
it's time for Kiddush. Thank you for that.
Sugar time.
It's what?
Sugar time.
Sugar time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Dennis,
I thought you said sugar time.
sugar time. He doesn't have the Ashkenaz the Appalachian accent, David. So you got to really listen to him sometimes. Shikker time, right? It's time for the liquor,
Amen.
so you can get shikker. A little bit of kiddush. I almost forgot mine. Vayer vayivoker yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivav, vayachal Elohim vayom hashvihi melachto asher asa, vayishvot vayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i, vayikadesh oto, ki bo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Sabri, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon iktivanu. Zikaron le'maseh bereshit, kihu yom tefillah lamikra'ei kodesh, zecher etziat mitzrayim, ki anu bacharta, v'otanu kidashta, v'kol ha'amim. Shabbat koshecha, v'yahava u'ratzon, inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Nothing like Kedem grape juice. All right, friends, we'll start closing out our service, page 282. Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teinu l'aliyotzer bereshit, shalom asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama. Shalom samchokenu kahem, v'goralenu k'chol alonam. V'anachnu korim, v'shachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch, shehu notei shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'Moshe yikaro b'shamayim v'imahal, u'shminatu zo, u'kovei meromihi, u'Eloheinu le'elot, emet Malkeinu efesu asho, kakatu b'torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashemota, el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim v'imahal, v'aharetz v'tachat seino. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar, v'yaya Adonai, v'melech kol haaretz. V'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad. U'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. You see, this week we observed the following yard sites: Louise Klein, friend and relative of Ida Strauss; Boris Berinsky, Manny's father; Robert Cohen, Eve Feinberg's brother; Charles Ritter, husband of Celia, father of Evelyn, Dave, and Maury, Ike Lerner's uncle; Miriam Greenstein, Alfred's wife, mother of Murray and Sharon; Stephen Jacobson, father of Paul and Mark, husband of Sharon; Benjamin Lazar, Maxine Frankel's father; Max Necken, Esther's husband; Isidore Rosenberg, Michael's father. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all, and may they all rest in peace.
Amen.
Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shnei Rabah, Velma, Yikrach, Yerushay, Yamlik, Machute, Bechayechon, Yeomechon, Uchayei, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Va'agalah, Bisman, Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabah, V'orach, V'olam, V'lamei Almaya. Yitvarach, Yishtabach, Yitpar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh. Yitzhadar, Yithalel, Yithalal, Shmei, Kushar, Riku. Le'elam, Yikol, Birchata, B'shirata. Tushkachata, B'nechemata. V'amram, V'almam, Yibru, Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya. L'chayim Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, Yibru, Amen.
Oseh shalom v'ramah. Oseh shalom
Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Yibru,
Amen.
Amen. All right, friends, just a couple of quick announcements. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbos?
What about birthdays?
Huh?
About birthdays?
Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Good
Wow, friends.
David's in the house.
Yeah, he's worried about his candy bar, but he's not going to get one.
I can't eat it anyway.
Oh, well, yeah. Anyway, when somebody says Shabbat Shalom, Shabbos,
Shabbat shalom.
too late. Too late. We could be here all night. Let's see, a couple of quick
Big
announcements.
ski race in Vermont this week, so it's Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Wow.
Yeah.
The people who were in Hogan's Heroes were actually funny when the Jews who did the humor. So no. A couple of quick announcements. One, services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and then again Sunday morning at 9. Sunday at 5 p.m. is the congregational meeting. Monday at 6:30 is the deep dive into Genesis. And then Wednesday is the Yiddish choir, the best little choir from coast to coast, the choir with the most. You got to come and experience it yourselves. And then we'll be back on Friday for Shabbat again. The sock drive came to an end today. Remember when I said that I had hoped that we would get 180 pairs, and then I said we had to go up to 360. Then I was hoping to get to 540. The final count this morning when Allie came to pick them up, we donated to Harmony House 613 pairs of socks.
All right, good.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good.
I double checked the math because I am not that good at math. 613, the exact number of mitzvot that are in the Torah. We donated one pair of socks for each of the mitzvot in the Torah. we are going to make a lot of people very happy to have warm and clean socks.
I mean,
613 friends. I thought we would have trouble getting to 180. And it was just amazing. Allie couldn't believe it. 2 big garbage bags full of brand new socks went, as did somebody went crazy at Walmart and bought some hats, some scarves, boxer shorts for men, briefs for boys, long sleeve t-shirts for women, onesies, although they're going to be donated to a different organization because Harmony House usually doesn't deal with kids, but anything for the children is going to be donated to the applicable agency. But the 613 pair of socks, well done, all of us in the congregation for doing that. That's we should be very, very proud. So well done, well done. All right, David, since you have a birthday in December, come on up.
Not this year.
You don't have a birthday in
Yeah.
December? You changed the month?
not this year, huh?
Not this year? I don't know. It's his name is here.
I sure do.
David Glick,
Not me.
December 27th.
I'm just glad to be there.
We also this month we have Leif and Nadia, Tam's twins. Max Newman on the, what date do I have? The 19th. Yeah? Yes, no? Do you know? Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, good. You know your birthday. Come on down. Come on up, David. We have David on the 27th, Gene Rosenberg, Lake Poland, and Jeffrey Lake Smith. All have birthdays in December. And so we are blessed to have 2 of our birthday people here. I almost called them birthday boys.
That's okay.
But there's Max. He's getting ready for 12. Number 12. Pretty soon that'll be his bar mitzvah year. This is news to me, he says. What do you think we're studying for? But a little bit of sweets for the birthday fellows who are here this evening with us. So you got to tell your friends if you have a birthday or an anniversary, full size Hershey bars, not the small stuff.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
We treat our congregants right. So and if you give it away, you can eat it, whatever.
Thank you.
But we have a missionary for you gentlemen. Yishvelach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rachel V'Leo Hu Yivarech Et Kulam Sha'alu Hayom Likvod HaMakom Likvod HaTorah Likvod HaShabbat V'Lehodot Al Kol Chasadim Asher Gamal Lehem Elohim Yom Hilvidah Hilvaldu there we go Hilvaldu Ad Hayom Hazeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishmor Otam V'Yakom Mishpachtam V'Yishlach Bracha V'Hatzlacha B'chol Ma'aseh Yedehem Im Kol Yisrael Lachem V'Nomar Amen. The God who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, bless David and Max who are here with reverence for God, respect for the Torah, and respect for Shabbat. Grateful to God for the gift of life which they have enjoyed until this day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu continue to bless them with length of years, good health, the pleasures of Torah study, and the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of Masim Tovim, a life of good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may their examples remind us that people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. Let us all say, Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Healthy. Many blessings. Other hand. There we go. All right. Well done. Our 2 birthday boys who are here. For those of you who are not here this evening, I am sorry, but you're going to miss a lovely kiddush, a lovely oneg, and that is been sponsored by Tom Pressman, who will be here all weekend performing comedy. Please don't forget to tip your wait staff. He'll be here all weekend.
When I do it, it's not common, it's not performance. It's the essence.
Oh, you're a method actor. You take on the whole.
Tom's back.
Tom's back. Yes, he is.
Funniest honey bone east of the Mississippi.
The what?
Never mind.
Tom, my kids
No.
don't appreciate it.
But we do thank Tom for the oneg this evening. Thank you, Tom. And all right, let's close out and get to the oneg before all the good stuff is gone. Adon Olam, page 321. Adon Olam asher ha'ala, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, li'et nasa lechem sokol, azai melech shemo nivra, v'yacharei yiflot hakol, levado imlok nora, vehu haya, vehu hoseh, vehu yeh v'tifara, vehu echad, ein sheni, להמשלו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, אלוה העוז והמשרה, והוא עלי, וחי גואלי, וצור חטלי תהיה צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפירוכי. V'yeti shan v'yahira, v'imruchi v'liati, Adonai li v'lo yira. All right, friends, it looks like we have one person saying Shabbat or some Shabbat Shalom to us through the interwebs, and it looks like ML Glazer and Herman. Well, there you are, ML and Herman. Wish all a good Shabbat. Thank you. Same to you. All right, friends, we are open. We've had a nice crowd here today. Please come and join us. We're all open for all of our events. Please come and be with us. We look forward to seeing you. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and please be careful out there.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
I'm gonna take a picture of this.